Tonight we are going to discuss three very important names. And those three names come from the same root. The root علو, عين, لام, واو. And these names are Al-Aley, Al-A'la, Al-Muta'āl, أو Al-Muta'āl. Al-Aley means the All High. The root علو itself, عين, لام, واو, means highness. Aley is an exaggeration form from Ali. Like Qadir is an exaggeration form from Qadir. All capable, all able. Aley means all high, which is an exaggeration form from Ali, which means high. That's why it is wrong when we call someone named Ali, we call him Ali. His name is not Ali. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib is not Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. He is Ali. So, of course, I mentioned before that the exaggeration form or صيغة المبالغة in the Arabic language is used to add emphasis on something. Al-Aley was mentioned, as the name of Allah was mentioned, defined with a the. Al-Aley, 6 times in the Quran. It was mentioned 6 times defined. And once undefined, Aliyan. So it was mentioned as a whole 7 times. The name Al-Aley was mentioned 7 times. Those 7 times came associated, 5 out of 7 came associated with Al-Kareem, the Supreme. And 2 times came associated with Al-Azim, the Magnificent, or the Great. You know, while discussing the names together during the past year, we discovered amazing things. When we started to study the names that are associated with each other. If you remember when we studied the name Al-Wahid, the One, we found that it came 6 times. And all 6 times came associated with another name. Which name is this? Who knows? Al-Qahhar, the subduer. So the One, Al-Wahid, came 6 times. All of them came with Al-Qahhar. Al-Wahid Al-Qahhar, the One, the subduer. When we studied Al-Qahhar, the subduer, we found something more amazing. It only came 6 times. All of them are the ones came with the One. So Al-Qahhar only came associated with the One. It only came like that. Al-Wahid Al-Qahhar, Al-Wahid Al-Qahhar, Al-Wahid Al-Qahhar. Subhanallah. And this needs contemplation. Allah is one. And this is good. It's actually positive. We are very proud for being monotheistic. And when we tell Christians, you worship 3 gods, they say, no, we only worship 1 God. So they consider being polytheistic something disgraceful, actually. So Allah being one, this is something very positive. But what is the only negative thing in the meaning of one? It gives people the sense of weakness. One. When someone comes late and we tell him, why did you come late? Hey, I had a fight outside. Oh, really? And what happened? No, don't worry. I just fought 1. I didn't fight 2 or 3 or 4. So the name one gives the sense of weakness. So every single time Allah mentioned His name, Al-Wahid, the One, it came associated with Al-Qahhar, the subduer. He is one, but He is subduer. He's not weak. Don't you ever think that this attribute of weakness can be attributed to Allah because He is one. Same thing here, subhanallah. When the name Al-Aley came, associated 5 out of 7 with Al-Kareem, the supreme. Al-Kabir, I'm sorry, not Al-Karim. Al-Kabir. Al-Kabir, the supreme. And 2 times with Al-Azim, the magnificent, I started to study the other names too. The name Al-Kabir, the supreme, came 6 times. 5 of them associated with Al-Aley, the All High. And the 6th came associated with which name? Al-Muta'āl, which we will study today, and came from the same root also, the highly exalted. So the name Al-Karim only came associated with these names, Al-Aley and Al-Muta'āl. Subhanallah. Why? To understand why did Allah associate the names Al-Kabir and Al-Azim with the name Al-Aley, we need to study the contexts of the verses that the name Al-Aley was mentioned. So let's see the 6 or 7 verses in which Ali was mentioned. The first one is verse number 255 in Surah Al-Baqarah. And that's a very, very important and very, very famous verse. It's verse called Ayat what? Al-Kursi. Ayat Al-Kursi. And it ends like that. وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمُ. And their preservation does not fatigue him. He is the All-High, Al-Azim, the Magnificent. Al-Aley, the All-High, the Magnificent. But in which context did this come? We only need to read the verse itself. We don't need to go any further. The verse says, الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Allah, there is no God except He, the living, the all-sustaining. Neither slumber overtakes Him nor sleep. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء. To him belongs everything in the heavens and everything on earth. Who is he that can intercede with him except with his permission? We're talking about shafa'a. وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. He knows what is before them and what is behind them, and they cannot grasp any of his knowledge except as he wills. His chair of divinity encompasses the heavens and the earth, and their preservation does not fatigue him. He is the All-High, the Magnificent. So the context had the issue of shafa'ah, the intercession, someone interceding for someone so that Allah does not punish him. So we're talking about Day of Judgment now. Shafa'ah, which happens on the Day of Judgment. The second verse that the name Al-Aley was mentioned is verse number 62 in Surah Al-Hajj. And it says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقِّ وَأَنَّ مَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ هُوَ الْبَاطِلُ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْكَبِيرُ. That is because Allah is the truth, and what they invoke besides Him is falsehood. And because Allah is the All-High, Al-Kabir, the Supreme. In which context did this come? This was verse number 62. Let's go back 4 or 5 verses. Verse number 56 and 57 in Surah Al-Hajj. الملك يومئذ لله يحكم بينهم فالذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات في جنات النعيم. Sovereignty on that day belongs to Allah. He will judge between them. Those who believed and did good deeds will be in the gardens of bliss. والذين كفروا وكذبوا بآياتنا فأولئك لهم عذاب مهين. But those who denied and rejected our revelations, for those there is a demeaning punishment. We're talking about which day? Judgment. Judgment day. Again, judgment. The third verse in which Al-Aley was mentioned is Luqman 30. ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأن ما يدعون من دونه الباطل وأن الله هو العلي الكبير. That is because Allah is the truth, and what they worship besides Him is falsehood. And because Allah is the All-High, Al-Aley, Al-Kabir, the Supreme. In which context did this come? Let's go back 2 verses. وَمَا خَلْقُكُمْ وَلَا بَعْثُكُمْ إِلَّا كَنَفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ بَصِيرٌ. Your creation and your resurrection are only as a single soul, as easy as creating and resurrecting a single soul. Allah is all hearing, all seeing. Again, we're speaking about resurrection. We're speaking about Judgment Day. Judgment. The name Al-Aley is always associated with judgment. Verse number 23 in Surah Saba, the name Al-Aley came. It says what? لا ولا تنفع الشفاعة عنده إلا لمن أذن له حتى إذا فزع عن قلوبهم قالوا ماذا قال ربكم قالوا الحق وهو العلي الكبير. Intercession does not work with him except by those to whom he has given permission, until when fear subsided from their hearts, on Judgment Day. When fear subsides from the hearts, that's on Judgment Day. They said to one another, what did your Lord say? They said the truth, and He is the All-High, the Supreme. And let's see the context still. Verse number 20 in Surah Saba, which is like only 3 verses before, says, وَلَقَدْ صَدَّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ إِبْلِيسُ ظَنَّهُ فَاتَّبَعُوهُ إِلَّا فَرِيقًا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. 21. وما كان له عليهم من سلطان إلا لنعلم من يؤمن بالآخرة ممن هو في شك وربك على كل شيء حفيظ. Iblis, Satan, was correct in his assessment of them. They followed him, except for a group of believers. Iblis has a good opinion, by the way, about people. He was correct. He assessed people, and he knew who will follow him and who's not. He had no authority over them except that we willed to distinguish between who believes in the hereafter from him who is doubtful about it. Your Lord is guardian over all things. Again, the name Al-Aley is coming associated with the hereafter and with Judgment Day. It came the 5th time in Surah Ash-Shura, verse number 4 in Surah Ash-Shura. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العلي العظيم. To him belongs everything in the heavens and everything on earth. He is the all-high, the magnificent. In which context did this come? Verse number 7, 3 verses after it, it says, وكذلك أوحينا إليك قرآنا عربيا لتنذر القرى ومن حولها وتنذر يوم الجمع لا ريب فيه فريق في الجنة وفريق في السعير. Thus we inspired you with an Arabic Quran that you may warn the mother of cities, Mecca, and whoever is around it, and to warn of the day of assembly, Judgment Day, the day of assembly, of which there is no doubt, a group in the garden and a group in the furnace. Surah Ghafir, the 6th time. ذلكم بأنه إذا دعي الله وحده كفرتم وإن يشرك به تؤمنوا فالحكم لله العلي الكبير. This is verse number 12 in Surah Ghafir. That is because whenever Allah alone was called upon, you denied. And in case others were associated with Him, you believe. Judgment rests with Allah, the All-High, the Supreme. Again, judgment. The only verse where the name Ali came undefined, it came Aliyan Kabira, which is still a name because it has tanween. Aliyan, this tanween proves that it's not a verb, it's a name. So this is considered a name of Allah. Surah An-Nisa, verse number 34. Allah has always been all high supreme. Inna Allah kana aliyan kabira. And this is really amazing, especially Surah An-Nisa. It has a lot of verses that talk about Allah in past tense. Inna Allah kana aliyan kabira. It could have been Inna Allah aliyun kabir. Allah is Ali kabir. But why Allah was? So in the new translation that we are working on, of course, all translations, nearly all translations did it, Allah is. And they did not actually translate it accurately in past tense. So in our translation, because the word kana denotes in Arabic language past but continuous. So we made it, Allah has always been aliyan kabira. Allah has always been all high, supreme. But what is the context? Look at the verse coming next. Verse number 35. So 34 ends. Inna Allah kana aliyan kabira. وإن خفتم شقاق بينهما فبعثوا حكما من أهله وحكما من أهلها إن يريد إصلاحا يوفق الله بينهما. If you fear a breach between the two spouses, appoint an arbiter or an arbitrator from his family and an arbiter from her family. If they wish to reconcile, Allah will bring them together. It's not talking about Judgment Day, but it's talking about judgment. Bring hakaman, a judge from her family and a judge from his family. So the name Ali always came associated with judgment. No matter Judgment Day or law or not, but judgment. The judge has to be the Most High. Because when the judge is high in knowledge, higher than others in knowledge, higher in others in knowledge of the law and the circumstances of the people, he can come to a right judgment and then give the right punishment, and he is the one who can decide to waive the punishment or decrease it or keep it as it is. So the judge always has to be high. Al-Aley, the All High, came always associated with judgment. But what is the only thing that you can think about? Someone being Aley, who can see better than others, may not be the biggest, may not be the greatest, may not be the most supreme. Because actually, if a dwarf, if a child stands on the shoulders of his father, he can see better than him. A dwarf standing on the shoulders of a giant will see better than the giant. So being the most high doesn't necessarily mean that you are the most supreme. So the name Al-Aley came always associated with the supreme. That's an amazing Quran. It's an amazing book. Wallah, and every time you read, and that's why this is the answer to the question that came last time. Why is it ambiguous? Why didn't Allah explain it to us? Why do we need to go to Ibn Kathir al-Qurtubi and so on, such and such and such? Why didn't Allah send us the tafsir himself? Because of that. Because had Allah sent us the tafsir, we could have only read it once and that's it. We don't need to read it again. We read it and we read the glossary and we read the meanings of the words and we read the lessons extracted from the surah and we went through the exercises and fill in the blanks, and all of them came from Allah. But no need to read it again. Khalas, I did it. But because of this ambiguity, you read it again and again and again, and you discover things. And you jump from your chair. You jump from your seat. Amazing. And that's what I'm telling you. With a good translation, even in English, people will be able to do tadabbur, inshallah. Make dua for us. We only have 5 more juz, and we will launch the new translation, inshallah. As you see here, the word kafir is not disbeliever in this translation, it is denier. Denying. Because the word kafir has two meanings in Arabic. Either someone who denied faith or religion, or someone ungrateful. It's called kafir, ungrateful. ففعلت فعلتك التي فعلت وأنت من الكافرين. And you were ungrateful. Being ungrateful is called kafir too. So the word disbeliever does not match the word ungrateful. So the translators had to translate the word kafir into disbeliever, and they also translated it into ungrateful in the other verses. But in Arabic, it is only in one word, kafir. So we found that the word denier is better because people can deny faith and some others can deny grace, which makes them ungrateful. Okay. Let's now move to the next name. Al-A'la, the Most High. Al-A'la, صيغة تفضيل. It's صيغة comparison. So there is Ali, high. And there is higher, A'la. And there is the highest, Al-A'la. So Al-A'la means the highest or the most high. So the name of Allah, Al-A'la, is translated into the most high. It came twice in the Quran. In Surah Al-A'la, verse number 1, سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى. Sabbih means highly exalt. Highly exalt the name of your Lord, the Most High. And in Surah Al-Layl, verse number 20, but I will read the whole context. وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. But the devout will be kept away from it, hell. He who gives his money to purify himself, seeking no favor in return, only seeking the acceptance of his Lord, Al-A'la, the Most High. When do we usually use this name of Allah, Al-A'la? In Salah, right? In Salah. When in Salah? In sujood. What is sujood? It is the lowest point that you can put your head in. It is when you put your forehead and your nose, the signs of your dignity, in the lowest point, on the floor, on the ground, in the dust, for the highest. So you will be in the lowest point and you call upon the Most High when you are in this position. And when can a person be in the closest position to Allah? In sujood. That's what the Prophet said. So when you go the lowest to the lowest point with your head and you call upon the Most High, you become the most close to Him. You become in the nearest point to Him. Why? Because highness only belongs to Him. When you humble yourself, you come close to Him. He elevates your rank. The Prophet ﷺ said, إن أقرب ما يكون العبد إلى ربه وهو ساجد فأكثروا من الدعاء فيه. A servant becomes nearest to his Lord when he is in prostration. So increase supplications while prostrating. The third name, Al-Muta'āl, Al-Muta'āl, which means the highly exalted. Which means He is continuously exalting Himself above everything. And He sees everything else lower and less and weaker than Him. Therefore, Muta'āl. If someone is called Muta'āl, it means arrogant. It's not good to call someone Muta'āl. When people see someone arrogant, they say, he is Muta'āl, which means he thinks himself higher than others. And that's wrong. Why? Because that's not true. He's a human being, so he's equal to others. But in case of Allah, that's the truth. Allah is higher than others, and he knows that he is higher than others, and he elevates himself above everything. هو الظاهر والباطن. He is above everything. And he is Al-Awwal wal-Akhir. So he is even above time. Surah Al-Ra'd, let's see the only time when the Al-Muta'āl came. It came in Surah Al-Ra'd. الله يعلم ما تحمل كل أنثى وما تغيض الأرحام وما تزداد وكل شيء عنده بمقدار عالم الغيب والشهادة الكبير المتعال سواء منكم من أسر القول ومن جهر به ومن هو مستخف بالليل وسارب بالنهار. Understand those verses so well. Allah knows what every female bears and what the wombs lose prematurely or exceed. With him, everything is by measure. The knower of secrets and declarations, عالم الغيب والشهادة. The supreme, Al-Kabir, the highly exalted, Al-Muta'āl. It is the same whether one of you conceals his speech or declares it, whether he goes into hiding by night or goes out by day. It's the same for Allah, which means he knows what is in public and what is kept secret. He knows al-ghayb. Ghayb in most translations is the unseen. And this is definitely not very accurate, because ghayb can be much more than just something unseen. Anything unknown is ghayb. Anything hidden is ghayb. What is happening right now in the women's section, right now at this moment, is ghayb for us. Why? Because we don't know what's happening there. By the way, what is happening here is not ghayb for them, because there's a camera and they are watching. But for us, it's ghayb at the same moment. So this is called the ghayb makani. Ghayb with respect to space. But what will happen here tomorrow in this room, in the same place, is ghayb for us. So this is called ghayb zamani. Ghayb with respect to time. Allah is Al-Aley. So, if someone is higher than this building and he can see what is in this room and in the next room and in the women's area. So the higher he is, the more he can see. So there is no ghayb makani for him. Allah is the exalted in highness, the highly exalted. So there is no ghayb for him. But his highness is even above time. So what will happen tomorrow is not ghayb for him. He knows what happened in the past, what is happening right now, what will happen in the future. And we said that he knows the fourth, which is what will not happen. If it happens, how it would happen. He is above space and above time. He is the Most High. The types of highness are three types. There is ulu al-qadr, highness in rank. And it is simply put, the highness of the attributes of Allah. So that nothing is like unto him. So yes, he is Kareem, he is generous. But don't you ever think that he is as generous as your generous uncle. You will not be able ever to comprehend the attribute of generosity of Allah. You can comprehend a bit of it. what your mind can comprehend, but you can never comprehend it all. Just something very simple like generosity that we see in our life. He is Rahim, mercy giving. How merciful. Don't you ever think that he is as merciful as your mother, who is very merciful. You cannot comprehend how merciful he is. So his ulu here, one of the aspects of his ulu is ulu al-qadr, is the highness in rank, which means his attributes cannot be fully comprehended. And he said in Surah Taha, verse number 110, يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون به علما. He knows what is before them and what is behind them, and they cannot comprehend him in their knowledge. No one can comprehend Allah. The second type of highness is ulu al-qahr. Highness in being the subduer. He is the one, as we said, the subduer. Al-wahid al-qahar. He is the one who subdues evildoers. He is the one who subdues tyrants. Where are the subduers? Hitler was a subduer. Fir'aun was a subduer. Abdel Nasser was a subduer. Mussolini was a subduer. Where are they? Who subdued them? Who among them was immortal? Who among them could stay immortal and doesn't die? None. Allah is the subduer of those. And some people, of course, may say, come on, but subduer, this sounds so negative. Yeah, so negative for a human being, but not for God. It comforts me as an oppressed that my God is strong. We want to live under a strong government. We don't want to live under a weak government. We want a government that can protect us. We want a government that can take revenge for us when we are unable to take revenge. And for Allah is the highest example. Allah is the subduer. So this comforts me that even though I am oppressed, I know that one day he will take revenge from Sisi. That's it. This is the issue. So this comforts me that he is qahar. I don't look at it as negative. No, it's so positive for me. This keeps me alive, actually, because I know that he is qahar, and one day he will prove it to me. The third type of highness is the ulu with that. The highness of his self. He is higher than everything and separate from everything. He knows everything they say, everything they do, and everything they even think about. Just this makes you feel naked. Allah knows everything about you. What you say, he hears. What you do, he sees. What you even think about, he knows. There is no secrets from him. But there's a misconception here. Hey, come on, how can you say he is separate from everything and he is higher than others and his self is higher and the most high when he himself said that he is with us? Didn't he say in Surah Al-Hadid, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ? And he is with you wherever you may be. What does it mean? That he's with me when I go to the toilet? The verse says that. There's another verse in Surah Al-Mujadilah, verse number 7. In Surah Al-Mujadilah, ما يكون من نجوى ثلاثة إلا هو رابعهم ولا خمسة إلا هو سادسهم ولا أدنى من ذلك ولا أكثر إلا هو معهم. There is no secret counsel between three, but he is their fourth, nor between five, but he is their sixth, nor less than that, nor more than that, but he is with them wherever they may be. What does it mean? If he is higher, the most high, and separate from the creation, how can he be with us everywhere? This ma'iyya which means companionship, Allah being accompanying us, is of two types. There is general معية, معية عامة, general companionship, and there is private companionship, معية خاصة, or special companionship. معية عامة or general companionship means that he is with his servants with his knowledge and his seeing and his hearing. He knows what you do. He hears what you say. He is with you with his names and attributes. So when you go to the toilet, he is with you with his knowledge, with his hearing, with his seeing. But his self is not. ليس بالذات. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور. He knows the deceptions of the eyes and what the hearts conceal. خائنة الأعين. Sometimes the eye takes a look when no one else sees. Yeah, you know that when you're like driving and you have your wife next to you and then she's busy doing something and then you take a quick look. It's called خائنة الأعين. Your wife didn't see it. By the way, most wives see it. But some wives don't see it. But Allah saw it. Allah knew about it. So there is someone who is having taqwa from his wife and someone who's having taqwa from Allah. He doesn't care if his wife is with him or not. But he has taqwa from Allah. He's mindful of Allah. Some others are mindful of their wives. هو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يعلم ما يلج في الأرض وما يخرج منها وما ينزل من السماء وما يعرج فيها وهو معكم أينما كنتم والله بما تعملون بصير. It is he who created the heavens and the earth in 6 heavenly days. Because some people think 6 days means 24 hours. No. Actually, the earth was not there yet. And the day on earth is 24 hours. The day on Mars is about 40 hours. So when Allah says in 6 days, doesn't mean 6 earthly days. It's 6 heavenly days. Then settled over the throne. He knows what penetrates into the earth and what comes out of it, and what descends from the sky and what ascends to it. He knows everything, and he is with you wherever you may be. Allah is all-seeing of everything you do. There is the private companionship. Not everybody can enjoy the company of Allah. Allah is the companion of Al-Muttaqin. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Surah At-Tawbah 123. And know that Allah is with is with those who are mindful of Him. So if you are mindful of Allah, Allah is your companion. Allah is with you. He's your companion. Private companionship. Not like anyone else. Just see Him, hears Him, knows everything He thinks about. No, much more. He is with you. With His power, with His help, with success, with a lot of things. Just be mindful of Him. And we spoke about taqwa before. And we said taqwa is to fear falling in future sins. We spoke about that before. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. Al-Baqarah 153. Or you who have attained faith, seek help through patience and prayers. Allah is with the steadfast, or Allah is with those who are patient. If you are among those who are sabirin, who are patient, the steadfast, let know that Allah is with you. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Al-Ankabut 69. As for those who strive for us, we will guide them in our ways. Allah is with those who excel in doing good. Muhsinin means people who do everything excellently. Excel in doing good. He told Musa and Harun, may Allah sends his peace and blessings upon them. قال لا تخافا إنني معكما. Surah Taha 46. He said, do not fear, I am with both of you. I hear and I see. إنني معكما أسمع وأرى. And other, actually, many other verses that speak about those special people who will enjoy the company of Allah. How can these names benefit us for the hereafter? That's why we're studying the names. Number one, remind yourself that He can see you, hear you, and know everything you are even thinking about. Because He is Al-Aley. There is no ghaib for Him. There is nothing unseen for Him. There is nothing unknown. There's no secrets from Him. You can keep a secret from anyone except from Allah. You need to humble yourself and prostrate to Allah a lot, frequently. Prostrate for Him. Humble yourself and call upon Al-Aley. And He will elevate your status in this life and in the hereafter, inshallah. If you act arrogantly or act as if you are higher than others, make sure that He will break your back and subdue you in this life and in the hereafter. So be careful all the time. So always be careful. Don't you ever think that you are better than others. Always, Al-Muhallab, and I will end with this story. Al-Muhallab was one of the great chief commanders of armies, and he was looked at like a hero. So he was very arrogant, actually. The man was so arrogant. He walks proud, and he was walking like a peacock. And there was one of the tabi'een. The tabi'een are the students of the Sahaba. And he saw that he is sitting, and he didn't even get up for him. He said, don't you know who I am? So the tabi'i told him, of course I know who you are. You are someone who started as a disgusting drop of semen, and he will end up a rotten corpse. And between those two stages, he is carrying poop in his belly. So he looked at him and he said, you know me so well. That's exactly every one of us. Okay? Yeah. We may be successful. Some of us may be very successful. We should be successful, actually. But always know that success comes from Allah. Jazakumullah khairan. Barakallahu feekum.